Hello, friends. Today I'd like to talk about a subject which is uh, distressing, unpleasant, but it's here, and it appears that one of the two major political parties is entirely for certain medical procedures, which I'm going to show you right here are violative of human rights, and I think are constitute a crime against humanity. What I'm referring to is what's called gender affirming care. Fortunately, the news is coming out that these treatments are ineffective for the purpose that they're touted. It's been touted that these are alternatives that prevent suicide. Well, that's been shown by clinical studies to not be the case. That's why in Europe, which kind of led the United States in this pernicious practice, is going away from this. The National Health Service in the UK said no more. Sweden said no more. The studies show that of the children, a long-term study in Sweden showed that 80% of the kids that thought they had this problem, they just grew out of it. And most of the rest were boys that actually turned out to be gay. So let's think about to almost 100 years ago when in Germany a law was passed, the sterilization law, just after Hitler took power. And it basically said that the retarded, the blind, those with certain diseases, they could be sterilized. And in fact, there was a law, the Bell case passed by the Supreme Court, that said, sure, you can sterilize people. Better to sterilize them than have their idiot children born and commit crimes. Well, that was countered in a 1942 Supreme Court case called Skinner v. Oklahoma. And the Supreme Court said the power to sterilize may have subtle, far-reaching, and devastating effects. Any experiment with which the state conducts is to his irreparable injury. He is forever deprived of a basic liberty. Friends, the ability to procreate is a liberty interest. It's a human right. In Europe, after World War II, the European Union, countries in Europe decided this is a fundamental human right. Used to be that if you wanted to change your identity, like on your identity cards between male and female, you had to get sterilized. That was thrown out. Now, what happens when you have a child that's under 18 and they want to get married? In some states it's 16, okay? No, they can't. They don't have the power to consent. They don't have the power to consent to sexual relations. If you have sex with somebody under 18 in California, well, that's a felony. You see, you can annul a marriage, right? Engaged in by a child later on. They can get divorced, they can go on with their life without too much permanent damage. But if you give them puberty blockers, or even worse, castrate the boys, remove the breasts of the girls, you're permanently affecting their ability to procreate, and that is a violation of their human rights. Doesn't matter if the parents can't consent to that. Parents can't consent to have their kids sterilized, out and out. You can't have it done. So why should they be able to consent, or why should the child alone be able to consent to this procedure when it is a basic human right? And we're seeing more and more these kids that were pushed into these surgeries and these puberty blockers, they wind up miserable. They wind up needing permanent medical care for the rest of their life. Friends, this is a way we can fight this. It is a violation of civil rights for this to go on. I know people are making a lot of money. Planned Parenthood is making this one of their primary sources of income. Hospitals, doctors are raking in the money, but we have to stop this. We have to protect our children. I know it's hard when your kid is suicidal, when your kid cuts themselves or says they don't want to live anymore, hey, you can have many sleepless nights about that. And as a father, now in my sixth teenager, I know how that goes. But you have to think the long term. You have to be patient. You have to love them. You have to give them counseling. Please don't do this to your kids. And we have an obligation not to let this happen to other kids. Well, I'm going to add some links below so you can see some of these studies. Thank you very much.